The moment you stop chasing is the moment you see everything for what it really is. No more confusion about whether she likes you or what you're offering. No more wondering if it's real attraction or just opportunism. No more exhausting yourself trying to earn something that should come naturally. Let me tell you what I learned after years of watching men destroy themselves, chasing women who are never really interested. When you pull back, when you stop the pursuit, the truth reveals itself with brutal clarity. Here's a test that changed my entire perspective on dating. Stop initiating for 1 week. Don't text first, don't plan dates, don't suggest meetings, just stop. What happens next tells you everything. Either she reaches out because she actually misses you, or she disappears because you were just entertainment with benefits. Most men are terrified to run this test because deep down, they already know the answer. The minimal effort strategy isn't about being lazy or disrespectful. It's about starting from zero and building based on what's earned. Think about it. You don't give an employee a CEO salary on their first day hoping they'll grow into it. You start with base pay and increase based on performance. But in dating, men do the opposite. Maximum effort up front, hoping it'll generate attraction. That's not strategy, that's desperation. I counselled a successful entrepreneur who spent $50,000 in 6 months on a woman he'd been dating. Trips, jewellery, restaurants that cost more than most people's rent. You know what happened? She got bored. The extravagance became normal. The special became expected. When he scaled back due to a business downturn, she left within 3 weeks. He didn't lose her because he stopped spending. He lost her because spending was all he ever was to her. The danger of setting unrealistic standards from the beginning is that you become a prisoner to them. Start with flowers every week, miss 1 week and you're not trying anymore. Begin with 5-star restaurants. A normal dinner becomes cheap. Open with 2-hour good morning texts. A simple morning beautiful becomes distant. You're not building a relationship. You're building a prison where you're both the inmate and the guard. Human adaptation to comfort is psychological law. What thrills us today bores us tomorrow. The surprise gift that made her cry with joy in month 1 barely gets a smile by month 6. It's not that she's ungrateful, it's that humans adapt. We're designed to normalize our environment. That amazing thing you do becomes baseline normal, and now you need something more amazing just to maintain the same emotional response. A client learned this the hard way. First date, nice restaurant. She loved it. So he kept escalating. Better restaurants, bigger gestures, more expensive gifts. By month 3, he was broke and she was bored. He'd trained her nervous system to need increasingly intense stimulation just to feel normal. When he couldn't escalate anymore, the relationship died. Not from lack of love, but from dopamine tolerance. The absence of lasting gratitude in relationships is something most men don't understand until it's too late. That time you paid off her credit cards, ancient history by next month, the car you bought her, she's complaining about its colour within a year. The vacation you saved for, she's asking, "What have you done for me lately?" Gratitude has a half-life of about 3 weeks in most relationships. This isn't because women are inherently ungrateful, it's because gratitude isn't what maintains relationships. Emotional bonds aren't built on appreciation for past actions, they're built on present connection and future security. You can't bank goodwill like vacation days. Every day is a new negotiation, and yesterday's generosity is a relevant currency. The reinforcement and reward dynamics that actually work are the opposite of what most men do. You don't reward someone hoping they'll behave well. You reward good behavior after it happens. When she's sweet, attentive, adding value to your life, that's when you increase investment. When she's distant, difficult, taking you for granted, you pull back. It's not manipulation, it's basic behavioral psychology. Think about training a dog. You don't give it treats hoping it'll sit, you give treats after it sits. But men in relationships do the opposite. They give treats constantly, hoping she'll eventually become the partner they want. That's not how behavior works. You're not incentivizing good behavior, you're rewarding existence. And existence doesn't require effort. The entitlement fueled by misplaced generosity is epidemic. When you constantly give without requiring reciprocation, you don't create gratitude, you create expectation. She doesn't think, "Wow, he's so generous." She thinks, "This is what I deserve." Your gifts don't make you valuable, they make you a utility. The electricity works every day too, but nobody thanks the power company. I watched this happen with a friend. 6 months of constant generosity, paying for everything, driving everywhere, always available. His girlfriend didn't become more appreciative. She became more demanding. Why? Because his behaviour taught her that her presence alone was worth all that effort. She didn't need to earn anything because everything was already free. The parallel between dating and employment is exact. Imagine hiring someone and immediately giving them maximum salary, unlimited vacation, zero accountability. Would they work hard to earn it? Number. They do the minimum to not get fired. That's what happens when you max out investment before she's proven herself. You're not inspiring excellence, you're subsidizing mediocrity. A company doesn't give you stock options on day one. They wait to see if you're valuable. Dating should work the same way. Start with baseline respect and kindness. If she adds value, increase investment. If she doesn't, maintain baseline or exit. This isn't being cold, it's being rational about emotional investment. Filtering genuine attraction becomes impossible when you lead with resources. If you're paying for everything, planning everything, initiating everything, you'll never know if she likes you or your utility. It's like being rich and wondering if people like you or your money. The only way to know is to remove the money from the equation. I tested this myself years ago. Dated 2 women simultaneously. One knew about my success, one didn't. Guess which relationship was healthier? The one where I was just a regular guy. No confusion about motives, no wondering about authenticity. She was there for me, not for what I could provide. That clarity is priceless. Attraction. As a subjective experience means your maximum effort might mean nothing to her. You think you're being romantic, she thinks you're being needy. You think you're showing dedication, she thinks you're showing desperation. What attracts one woman repels another. So why exhaust yourself on strategies that might be counterproductive? The testing loyalty through scarcity approach reveals everything. When you don't always respond immediately, who gets anxious? When you're not always available, who makes effort to see you? When you stop initiating, who reaches out? These tests aren't games, they're diagnostics. You're gathering data about who actually values your presence versus your presence. A client tried this after months of one-sided effort. Stopped texting first, stopped planning dates, stopped the constant attention. 3 women he was talking to, 2 disappeared within a week, 1 started pursuing him. Guess which one turned into a healthy relationship? The one who showed up when the benefits stopped. The critique of modern dating incentives is necessary. The current culture rewards performance over authenticity. Everyone's trying to out-impress each other instead of genuinely connecting. Men become dancing monkeys performing for attention. Women become validation addicts, needing constant proof of desire. Nobody's actually getting to know each other. The apps make it worse. It's become an auction where men bid with effort and money for female attention. Whoever offers the most wins the match. But what are you winning? The opportunity to keep bidding? It's exhausting, expensive, and ultimately empty. You're not finding love. You're participating in emotional capitalism. The encouragement of emotional detachment isn't about not caring. It's about caring strategically. Have feelings, but don't let feelings have you. Be interested, but don't be desperate. Show appreciation, but don't worship. The moment your emotional investment exceeds hers, you've lost the frame and probably the relationship. This emotional control changes everything. When you're not desperately invested, you see clearly. Red flags become obvious instead of overlooked. Manipulation becomes transparent instead of effective. You make decisions from logic, not loneliness. This isn't being cold, it's being conscious. The call for practical realism over romantic idealism is about survival. Romance novels and movies have poisoned expectations. Men think they need to be Prince Charming with a platinum card. Women think they deserve that without reciprocation. Meanwhile, real connection gets lost in the performance. Traditional courtship made sense when it was reciprocal. Man courts with resources and protection, woman responds with loyalty and support. Both sides invested, both sides benefited. Modern dating keeps male obligations while removing female reciprocation. You're playing by rules that guarantee your loss. The selective engagement as a filter works brilliantly. When you're selective with your effort, only genuinely interested women stay. The opportunists leave for easier targets. The entitled get frustrated and go. What remains are women who actually like you enough to invest their own effort. That's who you want anyway. I had a client who was exhausting himself dating. 3 dates a week, constant texting, endless planning. burned out and bitter. I told him, cut your effort by 80%. See who stays. He went from 3 dates a week to 1 date a month. But that one date, it was with women who were actually excited to see him, not just bored on a Tuesday. The clarity that comes from stopping the chase is profound. Suddenly you see who was using you for attention versus who actually cared. You see who was responding to your effort versus who was attracted to you. You see who was taking versus who was willing to give. The fog lifts, and reality becomes undeniable. Here's what most men discover when they stop chasing. Most women in their life were never actually interested. They were interested in what the chase provided: attention, validation, entertainment, resources. Remove the chase, and they remove themselves. It's painful but necessary truth. The energy conservation aspect is crucial. Chasing is exhausting. The constant initiating, planning, paying, performing, it drains you. When you stop, suddenly you have energy for yourself, for your goals, your health, your friends. You remember what it's like to not be tired all the time. A friend of mine was chasing this woman for months. Constant effort, zero reciprocation. Finally gave up. Within 2 weeks, he'd started a side business with the energy he'd been wasting. 6 months later, the business was thriving, and she was texting asking why he'd changed. He'd changed because he stopped pouring himself into a black hole. The self-respect recovery is immediate. The moment you stop chasing someone who isn't choosing you, you choose yourself. Your dignity returns, your standards reassert. You remember that you're the prize, not a contestant. This shift in self-perception changes everything about how others perceive you. The quality filter this creates is remarkable. Women who need constant chase aren't looking for partners, they're looking for servants. Women who require endless proof of interest aren't interested, they're insecure. Women who demand maximum effort for minimum reciprocation aren't girlfriends, they're parasites. When you stop chasing, these types eliminate themselves. What remains are women who understand reciprocity, who invest alongside you, who show up because they want to, not because you convinced them. These relationships start balanced and stay balanced. No one's chasing, no one's running. You're walking together. The behavioral psychology is undeniable. What you reward, you get more of. Reward minimal effort with maximum investment, you'll get more minimal effort. Reward entitlement with compliance, you'll get more entitlement. But flip it. Reward investment with investment, effort with effort, and you create positive cycles instead of destructive ones. The abundance mindset that develops is transformative. When you stop chasing one woman desperately, you realize there are millions of women. Some will like you, most won't, and that's fine. You don't need all of them. You need one who chooses you as much as you choose her. This abundance isn't about having options. It's about knowing you have value regardless of options. You're not desperate for anyone's approval because your approval of yourself is sufficient. This self-sufficiency is ironically what makes you most attractive. The investment calibration becomes automatic. You naturally match energy. She texts, you text. She plans, you plan. She invests, you invest. She pulls back, you pull back. It's not a game, it's equilibrium. You're maintaining balance instead of desperately trying to tip scales in your favor. A client mastered this after years of overinvesting. Now he mirrors energy precisely. His relationships transformed. Instead of exhausting pursuits followed by bitter breakups, he has balanced connections with mutual investment. The drama disappeared when the desperation did. The truth about masculine frame is that chasing destroys it. The moment you're pursuing harder than she's reciprocating, you're in her frame. She controls the relationship because she controls your emotional state. Stop chasing, and you reclaim your frame. You control your investment, your emotions, your decisions. The selective attention principle works both ways. When you give attention selectively, it has value. When you give it constantly, it's worthless. Think about it. A compliment from someone who compliments everyone means nothing. A compliment from someone selective means everything. Your attention should be earned, not assumed. The emotional sovereignty you maintain by not chasing is powerful. Your mood isn't dependent on her responses. Your day isn't ruined by her disinterest. Your worth isn't determined by her validation. You're emotionally self-contained, which is the only stable foundation for a relationship. The filtering mechanism becomes sophisticated. You start recognizing patterns instantly. The woman who takes 3 days to respond to texts but expects immediate replies. Next. The one who only calls when she needs something? Next. The one who's always busy unless you're paying? Next. Your filter becomes refined through experience. The respect dynamic completely shifts. When you chase, you're communicating that she's above you, that you need to earn her. When you stop, you communicate that you're equals at best. This shift in perceived value changes how she sees you. The guy desperately chasing her was pathetic. The guy who walked away, suddenly interesting. I've seen this transformation hundreds of times. Guy exhausts himself chasing woman. Finally gives up. Suddenly she's interested. Why? Because his absence created value his presence couldn't. His unwillingness to chase communicated higher value than his chase ever could. The practical application is simple, but not easy. Stop initiating more than 50% of interactions. Stop investing more than you're receiving. Stop chasing anyone who isn't enthusiastically reciprocating. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to get because you have standards. The internal peace that comes from not chasing is profound. No more anxiety about responses. No more analysing messages for hidden meanings. No more wondering where you stand. You stand wherever you choose to stand, and others can join you or not. Their choice doesn't affect your position. The relationship quality improvement is dramatic. When both people choose each other daily, rather than one chasing and one tolerating, the dynamic is healthy. Mutual investment, mutual respect, mutual attraction. These relationships last because they're built on choice, not pursuit. The energy reallocation changes your entire life. The effort you were pouring into chasing gets redirected into building yourself. Your career improves, your health improves, your friendships improve. You become the man women want to chase, rather than the man doing all the chasing. A personal example, I stopped chasing entirely for 6 months, focused on myself completely. Career exploded, got in the best shape of my life, reconnected with old friends. By the time I started dating again, I didn't need to chase. Women were pursuing me because I'd become worth pursuing. The validation independence you develop is permanent. Once you learn to validate yourself, external validation becomes nice but unnecessary. You don't need her to text back to feel valuable. You don't need her attention to feel worthy. You generate worth internally, making you genuinely attractive rather than desperately needy. The strategic withdrawal principle is powerful. Sometimes the best move forward is to step back, not as manipulation, but as assessment. If stepping back ends things, they needed to end. If it creates pursuit from her, now you have data about her actual interest level. The masculine energy restoration is real. Chasing is feminine energy, pursuing, pleasing, emotional. When you stop chasing, you return to masculine energy, stable, centered, choosing rather than pursuing. This energy shift alone often triggers attraction that all your chasing couldn't create. The outcome independence that develops is liberating. You want connection but don't need it. You appreciate interest but don't require it. You enjoy relationships but aren't destroyed without them. This independence makes you genuinely attractive rather than desperately available. The truth about stop chasing is that it's not really about stopping anything. It's about starting. Starting to value yourself. Starting to have standards. Starting to expect reciprocation. Starting to choose yourself first. When you do this, everything else falls into place. The women who matter will make effort. The ones who don't, won't. It's that simple. Your job isn't to convince anyone of your value. Your job is to be valuable and see who recognizes it. Those who do are worth your time. Those who don't were never going to be, no matter how hard you chased. The final clarity is this. Chasing someone who isn't choosing you is self-betrayal. You're abandoning yourself to pursue someone else. Stop. Choose yourself. Invest in yourself. Value yourself. The right person won't need to be chased. They'll be running alongside you. When you stop chasing, you start choosing. When you start choosing, you stop settling. When you stop settling, you start attracting. When you start attracting, you stop needing. When you stop needing, you start living. And when you start living, everything becomes clear. The practical steps are straightforward. Cut your initiation by half. Match your energy exactly. Never invest more than you're receiving. Pull back when taken for granted. Walk away when disrespected. These aren't games. They're boundaries. And boundaries are what separate healthy relationships from destructive ones. The mindset shift required is fundamental. You're not trying to win someone over. You're trying to find someone who's already won over. You're not trying to earn love. You're trying to find someone who freely gives it. You're not chasing, you're choosing. And that changes everything. The workplace motivation comparison extends deeper than most realize. Think about your best employees. They're not the ones you had to constantly motivate with bonuses and perks. They're the ones who showed up motivated and earned those bonuses through performance. Same with relationships. The best partners aren't the ones you have to constantly court. They're the ones who show up already interested and earn your continued investment through their behavior. Here's what happens when you apply employment logic to dating consistently. You start with probationary periods. Just like you wouldn't give someone full benefits on day one at work, don't give full boyfriend benefits on date one. See if they show up on time, communicate professionally, add value to the interaction. This isn't cold, it's conscious evaluation. The performance review mindset changes everything. Every few weeks, honestly assess, is this person adding value to my life or extracting it? Are they meeting the basic requirements of reciprocal interest? Would I keep employing someone who showed up late, did minimal work but expected maximum pay? Then why keep dating someone doing the relationship equivalent? The selective engagement principle reveals something profound about human nature. When you're selective, people assume you must have options. When you have options, you become more attractive. When you're more attractive, you actually get options. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that starts with simply being selective, even if you don't initially have alternatives. This filtering for long-term potential becomes almost automatic. You stop seeing dating as trying to make something work and start seeing it as discovering what already works. Like a good hiring manager, you're not trying to transform candidates, you're trying to identify the ones who already fit. This shift from reformer to selector changes everything about your dating experience. The genuine compatibility that emerges from minimal initial effort is remarkable. When you're not performing or overcompensating, you show up as yourself. When she's not being courted into submission, she shows up as herself. Now you can actually assess compatibility instead of just playing roles. Do your natural selves align, or were you just attracted to each other's performances? The emotional detachment paradox is that the less desperately you need connection, the easier it becomes to connect. Desperation creates an energy that repels. Self-sufficiency creates an energy that attracts. It's like trying to catch a butterfly. Chase it, and it flies away. Sit still, and it might land on you. The critique of modern dating incentives goes deeper when you realize the entire system is designed to make men chase. Dating apps profit from male desperation. Dating coaches sell chase strategies. Society celebrates the man who won her over through persistence. But what if the entire framework is wrong? What if the winning move is not to play? Consider how shallow exchanges get rewarded in modern dating. The guy who sends the wittiest opener, plans the most creative date, has the best photos. He wins the match. But these are performance metrics, not compatibility indicators. By refusing to compete in this performance economy, you filter for women interested in substance over show. The encouragement of emotional detachment isn't about becoming robotic. It's about achieving what therapists call differentiation, the ability to stay connected to yourself while connecting with another. You can be warm, caring, interested, while maintaining your emotional center. This isn't coldness, it's emotional maturity. Think about the most attractive people you know. They're rarely the ones desperately seeking approval. They're the ones who seem complete within themselves, who treat others well but don't need external validation. When you stop chasing, you become one of these people. You shift from needy to needed, from pursuer to pursued. The strategic awareness I'm advocating isn't manipulation, it's wisdom. Every interaction has an exchange dynamic. Pretending otherwise doesn't make you romantic, it makes you naive. Understanding the exchange, calibrating your investment, maintaining balance. This is how healthy relationships actually function, whether people admit it or not. I want to hear from you guys. What happened when you stopped chasing? What truth revealed itself? Who disappeared and who surprised you by stepping up? Drop your experiences in the comments. Every man needs to hear that stopping the chase doesn't end opportunities. It reveals which opportunities were real all along. Your story might be exactly what someone needs to finally stop exhausting themselves for people who are never going to choose them anyway.